Hi there. Just a quick point and shoot video. I do these every now and again to bring along or show you something that you might not be aware of. I certainly wasn't aware of these. It's an adapter or a tamper stroke compactor to go on an SDS Max breaker. There's the traditional one on the right. This one used to be my dad's. I don't know how old it is. It's about 8 to 10 kilos. You certainly know when you've been using that for half an hour. And I got a long new curbs put in. I got a long stretch of tarmac to do, and I started looking for an alternative because the problem with these, most of the ones I've seen on the internet and that are round, but the problem with these is, especially when you're up against the curb, is the potential to actually damage the curb. And with this cold lay tarmac stuff, is you have a tendency to leave an imprint of the that's about the end of that is about the size of a brick. Anyway, so I looked for an alternative and came across this. This is a Bosch one. I suspect Bosch don't make it. I suspect you can get it in other names, but not that easy to find or get a hold of actually. I got quite lucky. I managed to find one. It was probably eBay, I think. The foot and the shank for about the £70 mark. I just had a quick look on the internet now. I can only find the foot, the base plate if you like, for about £59. And I had a quick look and I couldn't find this taper shank, but they are available. You might have to do a bit of digging around. The base plate is obviously a forged steel, I would have thought, and it's 125mm, 5 inches square, with this tapered shank. You could say it comes in two parts. You've got a hole in there and it fits in a taper. I've not taken it off since I've had it. So the advantages of using this as opposed to one of these old-fashioned type, if you like. I see I've got all this tarmac to lay. You can bring this, I'm not going to run it on the tarmac because the tarmac's done, so you can run it nicely up against the curb, whereas your aim with one of those has got to be spot on, otherwise you're going to be taking chunks out the edge of the curb. So the other advantage is obviously you can wind the power up and down. So I think this was the first coat of this was tamped at like maximum power, second coat max, and then you're able to turn it down to sort of half, or this goes up to 5, number 3, and slowly glide it over the top of your tarmac to get a nice finish. And say this isn't too bad. It looks a bit odd because there's footprints, dusty footprint marks in it. That's the only thing you can use it for. I used it when I put the curbs in. I used it for compacting the bottom of the trench to firm that up. Last year, because I knew I was to be doing these curbs this year, so when I got it, we had a problem. Our water main stopcock was about 3 or 4 inches, sunk 3 or 4 inches below the road. It was a plastic one and it wasn't supposed to be, and it obviously been put in at some point been put in at haste, so the ground wasn't compacted. So I dug that out and I was able to put hardcore in, like 50mm at a time, compact it, 50mm compact it, cast a concrete ring, and then finish off, put the lid on and finish off with the tarmac. And again, the same as with the curbs, you can gently whack around here. You can imagine with these cast iron lids, I know they're ductile, you end up slipping and hitting it with the corner of that handheld one, and you could be in trouble. So all in all, a really useful tool, albeit expensive. There's probably better tools to do this, but this is a one-off job for me, this tarmac. The only thing I would say, if you look at it, there must be a reason for this. They come on I haven't been able to find a long shank, so if you're standing here, you can handle it here, no problem, but you are stooped a little bit. So, and especially if you're compacting the trench, you end up getting a bit of a sore back. But to be quite honest, if you've got a lot of work to do, you wouldn't be using something like this. I'm just trying to think of other stuff. Yes, I was having to put a manhole in just over there, and again to firm up the base for that, you know, the plastic base for the collector. So yeah, you'd have to do a bit of digging around to find. I say I could only find the bases online. I couldn't find the shafts, but to the point where I think I'm actually going to give this to my farmer friend, because that does everything I need to. What I'll do now, just to show you shit running, it's on max. It's not going to compact much here because our ground is on rock, and this is all fairly well compacted. But just so you can see it, we'll see if we can do something with it. So we'll do 20 or 30 seconds of you can see it running. So this is on maximum power. You could use it in a cheap like screw fix SDS Max machine, doesn't have to be a Makita. So here we go. So there we are. Won't annoy my neighbours too much. So you can see, and this was already been down for a while and been driven over, but you can see how it compacts. I'd say if you've the tarmac, I think that had to be laid down at 30mm and compressed down to about 20mm. But when I've been doing hardcore or tamping out the bottom of the trench, if you are filling in and compacting it, I'd only put like between 30 and 50mm. I wouldn't do any more than that. But yeah, ideal for small jobs. Did what I wanted, so I hope that helps. Thanks for watching.